Save 8% off your order at TrueTechTools.com by using the Shop Talk discount code. Hello and welcome back to HVAC Shop Talk. My name is Zach Ciota. I'm your host here, and I've got some of my stuff. My knickknacks are finally making it onto the wall here. It's kind of nice. My knickknacks. You know, we got like this microphone thing shows right here. Besides that, my life is perfect. Besides this little thing right here, watch this. There we go. Now my life is perfect. Let me bring that back down again. Oh, it's a delicate match here. Let's see. I think that's better. Okay. Hopefully that wasn't just the loudest thing you've ever heard in your life on the other end. So I have in the background here, I decided, I'm just going to grab some tools that I like, put them up here, and the Harbor Freight pump because it's, it's lightweight. I put together a nice little pallet shelf here just for the heck of it because I like tools and stuff. Got the Craftsman brushless drill. I tell you what, these Craftsman tools, they're actually pretty darn good. I was surprised by it, and I was expecting Ryobi-like performance, but they seem to be like a little bit better than Ryobi or whatever. And now they're giving away 4 amp hour batteries free with their brushless tools as a promotion now. So I went and bought a couple brushless tools so I could get me some 4 amp hour batteries. Yeah, but I like it, man. They're pretty decent tools. I think, like I was talking about it on the last show, I think they're like the mid-level for like DeWalt and Milwaukee and stuff. That's like their best level. They don't have that super ultra drill or impact driver, but it's pretty darn good still. But I like it. Pretty good stuff. Hope everybody is doing good out there tonight, doing well. We have Adam Heisha, James Gerard, HVAC Residential Basics. If you are in the chat, feel free to speak up. This show is all about having the technicians participate. That's what it's all about. For those of you who know me, I was a technician for a long, long time, and now I'm kind of doing this and just do a little bit of HVAC. I got to build some ductwork tomorrow. But, we all have to suffer sometimes. So I'm going to go to John Stone in the morning and pick up some S-Lock. I'm building square duct, and I'm making it out of the metal I have here, a specific size, because I've had this metal in pipe form for such a long time, and I'm just sick of having it in my shop, so I'm going to build the ductwork I need out of that metal. So I'm going to build supply plenums. I'm going to build return plenum, and then a couple trunk ducts that are going to be connected with some short runs of flex. And hopefully I have enough metal for all that. I think I do. There's so much junk in my shop. I'm surprised I won't have enough duct work to build like 7 duct systems once it's all said and done. But basically, I'm going to build, a plenum. This is a train air handler. It's going to have a 12 by 18 opening on the front of it, or roughly. So I'm going to make a plenum out of that, maybe like 6 foot long, with a couple runs coming off of it. And then on the back is going to be a return, and it's going to be about 4 foot long, have a couple runs coming off of it. So it should be a lot of fun until I get into the crawl space and have to install it. But the crawl space I'm going into is actually pretty good. I really can't complain about it, so might be doing it on Saturday. That's going to kind of suck because as you guys, well, you may know, on the last show I talked about doing a live stream Saturday night as a fundraiser for my son. We are going to do that. It's likely going to start at 8 o'clock. So far, I have Bill Spone that's going to come on and talk for a little while. Also, David Richardson's going to come on and talk for a little while. And I may get one more guy. And here's what I'm going to try to do. It's either going to be one more guy to have an interview with, or if I can get enough stuff together, I'll do Skilled Trade Up, which for those of you who remember, Skilled Trade Up is a game where you guys come on the air and try to win prizes, and you risk the prizes by answering harder and harder questions. I mean, we got some winners here, right here in the chat. Adam won, Steve won, and they played multiple times, and it's just a lot of fun. You answer trade questions about HVAC, and as you go through it, it gets harder and harder, and sometimes that last question is pretty daggone hard. We've had some real stinkers out there as far as difficult questions. The biggest question for me is, do I have enough stuff here to play the game? I mean, I need to offer you guys something to win, and if there's nothing that I can offer you, there's no point in playing. So I do have, like, right down here, and it sits too low. You can see the top of it right there. It's the Yellow Jacket hydrocarbon charging set. I figured that could be one of the things that we give away, maybe like a grand prize. It's like a $200 or $300 charging set for hydrocarbons for like refrigeration guys. And I have a few other things. I mean, we're not going to give away the Harbor Freight Pump because I kind of already trashed it halfway. But I have a few items down there, some power tools and stuff. I just want to get some excitement, get you guys in here participating, having fun, and hopefully raise some money for my son. That's the whole idea. So I will either do the interview or just play Skill Trade Up. I'm not sure yet. I know, Adam, it's not about the stuff, but, I just, especially because Steve's talking about the championship thing, which I never have gotten around to doing. This stuff isn't really going to be worthy of the championship where these guys have won Skill Trade Up before and they're all coming back to play again. It's, that has to be some nicer stuff. But at the present time, I just don't have the stuff to spare to do that. So I just might have like it's going to be good stuff. It's just not going to be like, we gave away smart probes before and vacuum pumps. We don't have that level of stuff. And there's no way that it's going to fall from the sky in between now and then. And I'm not looking for it to. I'm just going to find some stuff here, and I think we'll be good because I have like some stuff I don't need, and I definitely have some power tools I don't need because I've, good grief. I mean, I buy a lot of power tools, and to get some free stuff like batteries and stuff as promotions, I'll buy tools that I already have. Like impact drivers, I probably have 5 or 6 impact drivers. We can spare a couple of those. It'll be fine. Yeah, 2 new pipe wrenches with instructions, of course. I can get some Harbor Freight 6-in-1s. That's what they're saying in the chat. 6-in-1 from Harbor Freight, I can swing that. We can do that. But that doesn't seem very grand prize worthy. I don't think it's very grand prize worthy. Not at all. I don't think. But we can shoot for something a little bit better, I think. But I'll work that out. I know all the guys are like, you don't need stuff, but for a lot of guys, I mean, they want like some cool stuff to win, and I don't blame them. So I want to find something if we're going to justify having this game. Now it is fun either way; it's a lot of fun, but with some nice stuff, it adds some tension to it, and the tension's good because when you get really close, because when you get up high, and I'm talking about the original Skill Trade Up where one guy plays, and if you lose your stuff. You get more and more stuff. Or better stuff, but if you risk it all and you don't answer the question right, I mean, you walk away with nothing. That's fun because there's a level of tension and anxiety with that. That's really, really cool, especially if you really want the tool. So it's fun. Yeah, Klein's good. Klein 6-in-1s are really nice. I always like those. There's Linux multi-tools are really nice. There's a lot of them that are really nice. I always used really cheap versions of multi-tools because I lost so many of them and I lose the bits out of them. So I ended up getting, it was Harbor Freight. They're like little green ones they sell. They don't even have names on them. They're just in a big bin. And it's like chock full of these 6-in-1s or 5-in-1s or whatever they have. I don't know how you make a 5-in-1. I guess one of the things doesn't flip around. That's stupid. Like 6-in-1s, they're like $1.99. Or like I'll get one at Walmart or something. But when I get like the Klein one, and I do like the Klein ones because, as I recall, they have like the Schrader tool and stuff that's on them, and it's really, really nice. I'm just paranoid because I always lose these things. That's the worst part about it. It always does that. It always happens. So I thought I would open up tonight, talk a little bit about some HVAC news. I was on the interweb. I was like, what happens on the internet when you search HVAC news? And it's not just boring stuff like some guy was named COO of Daikin or something like that. I mean, not that crap. Something more interesting. So I brought up some stuff, and I saw something that really caught my eye based on what this show is all about. And I'm going to start with that. So go over here to this place called myrecordjournal.com, and I don't think it's necessarily HVAC related, like a paper, because some of these places are just HVAC media outlets. But this looks like just like normal news stuff. And it has this guy, Meridian HVAC business owner, finds fulfillment through career in the trades. And we were talking about trade stuff like this. Like, why don't more people try the trades? Because they end up making more money in the long runs, and they don't have the debt. Even if they go to trade school, I mean, they don't have near the debt that they would have if they were going to college and paying for a 4-year college. I mean, I know it. Just before we get into it, the cost of my son's college at the Citadel, if he didn't have any scholarships, it would be hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I don't know about most banks, but they don't want to give me hundreds of thousands of dollars, just in general. And if they do give it to me, they're watching me pretty close. So that's not a good plan. A good plan is getting a scholarship. Of course, not everybody can get a scholarship. I never got a scholarship when I went to University of North Carolina at Wilmington, but back then it didn't cost nearly as much as it seems to cost now. When these schools cost $55, $60K a year, and there's extras on top of that, it's hard for normal people to pay for stuff like that. So the kids almost have to get a scholarship. It's one of the things where, you want your kid to have everything, but is it really getting everything? In the case of a regular 4-year college, sometimes trade school is the way to go. Okay, yeah, we're waiting for Biden to cancel the old student debt or whatever. How are we supposed to work that out? Where's that money going to come from? He's going to get it right back from us, guys. A little bit of redistribution of wealth right there, guys. But that's a story for another day. Okay, so I thought it was a cool story. This guy's named Juan Lopez. Said he discovered a career as an HVAC technician with guidance from Wallingford Adult Education, and today runs his own business. Which means, that's not a very flashy way to come up. Wallingford Adult Education. It says he runs year-round mechanical that provides heating, ventilation, and air conditioning services. It says at this time of year, many customers call him. And I'm going to skip down to where it talks about his fulfillment. He said that prior to opening his own business, he was already doing side jobs and knew a lot of people in the area. And I think that's interesting right there because there's a huge debate that everybody gets into on should you do side jobs or not? Should you be trying side jobs? And guys, if you want to call in, you can call in. I'm going to continue with a news story, but of course you can call in and chime in. We may not have like a 30-minute conversation, but if you want to call in and talk about the news story, I do want you to do that. Don't hesitate. The number's on the screen. I don't have my watch on, which always vibrates when my phone rings. So if I'm looking over here and I miss you, just keep on calling. It's just fine. And somebody's calling right now. All right, here we go. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up, brother Zach?
Hello, Isaiah. How's it going?
Pretty good, brother.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I just want to share my little thoughts on tonight's topic.
All right, well, share your thoughts. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I can agree with Adam on the comment that he said owning a business is scary. That's my plan, is to start my own little air conditioning service business and do service and repairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I can agree with him on that, especially because my father did it for over 30 years owning a company. But I'm definitely looking forward to it and scared to death at the same time.
So what do you think about where I was reading a news story and it's talking about this guy did side work before he opened his business? Do you think that's a healthy thing to do, is do side work before you open a business if you're working for somebody else?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good thing to do. That we can build up your clientele before you go fully established on your own. That's what my father, taught me to do. Just to build up my clientele. Just do side work. Be careful. Cover. CYA. Cover you behind, so they can't come back after you.
That's CYB, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, cover your butt.
Cover your behind. Cover your butt. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes, sir.
would you not be concerned with your current boss finding out you are doing jobs on your own that could potentially compete with him?
No, so he knows. Matter of fact, I work the guy I work for now. He's fine with me doing work for myself.
Well, we talking
And
about your dad.
I'm
Dad's
one of his
different.
apprentice electricians.
Your father's
But
different. So I mean, your father's not going to care. But it's just imagine you work for somebody else that might be a
yes,
little
sir.
perturbed
Yeah,
if you were
yes, sir.
getting out there and
Yes,
doing
sir. So
competing business.
right now, yes, sir. Right now, I'm working with Martin Sheevy with a Total Control AC and electrical. I'm one of his electricians. And I told him, I admitted to him, I say, hey, man, I've been doing side work for the past 7 to 6 months when I worked for him. And he said, that's fine.
All right, all right,
But
Isaiah. Well, I'm gonna continue with the
uh,
news story, but I appreciate you calling in, man.
good talking to you, Zach.
Thank you,
Yeah,
dude.
but I sent you a message. You had an idea for Saturday night.
I'll check it out whenever the show's over.
I appreciate that, brother.
Thank
Keep
you,
on
Isaiah.
going, man.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye. All right, guys. If you want to, you can continue to call in, guys. If you want to comment on the subject, this is not a skit, Joe. This is just phone calls. Joe, you should call in. You own a business. Joe, you should call in. All right. I'm waiting for Joe to call in now. This is what we need. We need Joe Shearer to call into this show and let us know what's going on in life. That's what we need. I will finish reading this while waiting for Joe. All right. So this fella says he said that prior to opening his business, he was already doing side jobs and knew a lot of people in the area. Over the course of years, let me put this back on the screen here. Over the course of the years, I started meeting people, and one customer referred me to another. Now, I assume this is why while he's working for somebody else. So the work gives him a feeling of fulfillment. I can understand that, absolutely. When you're walking into an elderly customer's house or somebody that hasn't had heat and you're able to get their heat up and running, it's a good feeling, he said. Most of Lopez's customers are Spanish speaking, and about 90% are referrals. So it's interesting, since he's Latino, he knows Spanish, and there's a ton of Spanish speaking people, even here. And this is, let me see, because this guy was born in Mexico and came to the U.S., which I think is pretty amazing to come to the U.S. Now you're owning a business. It's pretty good. It doesn't say exactly where it is, does it? Well, even here, we have a lot of Spanish speaking people, and a lot of times you'll get into a situation where you'll go to a house and the parents don't speak English, but the children translate for them, which is really, really interesting. So having the ability to speak Spanish is a good thing. Now, this guy here has a great advantage because he was born in Mexico, which is a really big advantage. So someone from Mexico or someone that's Latino may just naturally trust him more than somebody else, which gives him kind of a nice in, and it's able to grow his business faster. All right, so it looks like we have another caller. We'll see who's on the line now. You're on the air.
Hey, Zach.
What's up, man?
How are you?
Well, I'm great. I'm fantastic. I'm just doing this live stream,
I don't know how these guys can run all this side work and work for somebody. Where do they find all this time
That's a really good question because it's summer.
without killing themselves?
Well, okay, here's me using logic, all right? If you have a person that was born in Mexico coming to the United States and working for a
Sure.
bunch of Spanish-speaking customers, I'm going to assume that he lives in a southern state.
Right.
I think that's logical. And then living in a southern
Practical,
state, yeah, and it's pretty hot in the southern states. So it's a good point. If you're running AC calls all summer, how do you do any side jobs? I mean, could you personally pull off any side jobs during the summertime?
Oh, I'm too lazy for that. I used to try that when back in my younger days, and it just got to the point where it just wasn't worth it. I was not spending time with my family. Things that should have taken priority fell to the wayside, and at the end of the day, it was for what, a little cash in the pocket, a little fun money.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's stressful, especially when trying to be a full-fledged service tech. Now, I mean, there may be differences from other guys' attributes out there, like if you're an installer working for a company or something like that, and you're just slinging in package units, or may be doable. But I mean, it's hard being a full-fledged service tech, especially in the summertime. Zach, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night is not uncommon at all.
Yeah. I just had some flashbacks while you were saying that. I had a flashback. For some reason, I thought of a particular day. And and it was years ago, but I had to do a change out or something like that. It was like a change out that took the first half of that day, and then I had to switch out another system, like a coil and heat pump, like a trailer system, just like a Mortex coil and heat pump at the second half of the day, and it was like 9 or 10 o'clock, and I just remember like I was wiped out, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
something that, I mean, you do make good money, but I mean, there's a cost. There's a
Yeah.
physical and mental cost to doing that sort of thing for an extended period of time, especially.
Well, I mean, and that's another thing too. Like, I mean, how many, out of a percentage, how many guys do you think that do side work that say to themselves, this is easy. Like you said, I'm making good money. I should just go into business for myself. And then they don't realize the actual cost that it takes to run a business. And therefore that side money they were making is no longer as profitable as they thought it was.
Yeah, and I tell you what, when you're doing the side work, a lot of times you don't have the insurances and the
Sure.
licensure that a business does. You're not pulling permits if it's applicable. Some places you don't have to pull the permits, but I mean,
Right.
typically you're not doing that. You might not even be licensed at all, like a licensed contractor. That doesn't mean you didn't do a good job, I guess. But
Right.
then you have to factor all that in when you start the business, and it really adds up quickly when you got like the $100 permit, $25 inspection. You have to all of a sudden call an electrician because you need an electrical connection and you can't do it yourself,
Yep.
technically under code. That
Yep.
adds up real fast, and that's stuff you forget about until it
Oh
happens.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Sometimes you got to learn the hard way with that. Like I know Joe in the chat, I think he's recently hiring somebody, was in the process of hiring help. And I can only imagine trying to run my own business and then hiring somebody, A, that you trust, and B, that now I have to take care of this person and their family. So now it's even more stress and strain as a
Yeah.
business owner. I
Oh,
couldn't imagine.
that's a great point because when you got someone else, I don't know how all business owners react to having someone that works for them. But if I had someone that really worked for me, I depended on, and they were a good worker, I would feel like almost like a parent that had to care for them
Yeah.
and make sure they were taken care of.
Responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. We got kids and stuff. I mean, you kind of understand, but I don't know. It's just added to, you just want to go out there and fix stuff, and all of a sudden that's like the third or fourth thing in the line that you get to take care of. The first is like you're worried about all this administrative stuff, and I always hated it. I really did.
Yeah. I thought about opening my own business for a while back in my younger days, and it just got to the point where, fortunately, I was smart enough to, well, let me just take a quick business class and see what I actually know and see what I'm about to get into. And when you add up all the back end insurance, workers' comp, lease, license, everything that's involved, storefront. Well, I guess technically you don't have to have a storefront, but
Yeah.
everything that goes into the overhead at that point, and just taxes and everything. I'm like, I'm better off working for a good owner, making good pay and good benefits, and letting him deal with the stress.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It goes back to like if you have lawn maintenance that you have to do, you can cut the
Hmm.
grass yourself, or you can pay somebody. It's like, well, I don't want to pay somebody. I'm gonna save the money. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna keep that money. And then you realize how much
Yeah.
time it took to cut it, and what you could have been doing
Breakdown.
otherwise. And yeah, yeah. And then it's the physical strain of having cut the grass and realizing that your back hurts, you're sunburned, and you had to pay for all the gas for the mower, which nowadays it's not a huge cost for cutting your own yard, but everything adds up. It's like there's little bits. There's like 20,000 little bits that add up.
Yeah, it's crazy. And just, yeah, like you said, callbacks, warranties, you're just kind of hemorrhaging money at that point. Especially, I guess, when you start growing and you get other people working for you, and not everybody cares as much as you do about owning your business.
Yeah, I don't think anybody will, right? And no one cares as much about your business as you do. So that's
Right.
it's going to be a constant frustration because you're going to have to learn how to tolerate that too, because it's not natural for someone to want your business to be as successful as you want it to be. It's just not
I
natural. Why
mean,
would they?
you did it, Zach, and I mean, I can see from the owner's standpoint, it's almost like your child at that point, where it requires 100% dedication and focus. So I don't want to downplay to anybody out there who wants to own their own business. I guess the point I'm making is, it's not as easy as most of these young guys think. I think part of unfortunately, I don't even know the statistic that I checked last time, but what is it? Like 95% of all new businesses fail, or most new business owners end up going through 1 to 2 businesses before they find a business that's successful.
I'm going to look that up. I've
yeah.
heard the one on restaurants, how the restaurants, almost all of them fell within 2 years, but I haven't heard specifically about our style industry.
Yeah, I think our industry, the bane of it is, most of these guys opening their business are really good installers or good technicians and think, well, I can do that and make money, and that's easy. All I need is a truck and some tools, and we're golden. And then they get hit with reality at the end of the year with, well, what do you mean I owe taxes? I didn't plan for that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, taxes. Hell, didn't even talk about taxes.
Bought a boat.
Oh yeah, I bought this boat, man. It cost $30,000. I'm the boss now. I can go out and I haven't got to use my boat yet because I'm the boss and I stay up every night doing invoices and stuff. And now there's a bunch of tax due on it. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I guess it's first time stuff. If you take like a business course, which I don't know many people who do that before they own a business, that just kind of get started and figure stuff out. As far as I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a surprise thing every year. It's like, oh, what? How much tax is there? Workman's comp on these people is crazy. I just remember my dad. Payroll tax is crazy.
Yeah, I got to pay tax for the tax that they paid. What is that?
Yeah, that's funny because I remember him going over like his books, and he did everything longhand. He didn't have a computer program because he's old school. My dad's in his mid-70s, and he had like a ledger, just like a real ledger. With all the little lines in it, and he knew what all the lines did because they mean something. And he has all this stuff written down and the numbers there, and he goes into everybody's check, and he says, well, if we adjust the taxes taken on your check, you're going to get this kind of refund at the end of the year. He knew all this stuff, and I was like, dang, Dad, you know a lot of stuff, and I don't want to be anywhere near this. I don't want to ever have to worry about this crap because, it's just, I don't know how he did it all those years. He seemed to hold together pretty well because he stayed small, too, and maybe that's why.
Well, it definitely takes a different breed. Well, brother, look, I don't want to hog up your phone line, man. Just thought I would jibber jab with you for a little bit.
Hey, well, I appreciate that. That's exactly what I wanted you to do, is call in and talk for a few minutes, and that's exactly what you did, man.
All right, man.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you next time.
All right, bye.
Later. All right, buddy Adam right there. Good old Adam, man. Let's go over here. Let's read this next paragraph on this business. I'm not tearing apart this guy's business, by the way, but I think it's kind of neat to go line by line and kind of react to what he's done, because I think it's a cool story what this guy did. I guess his name, Juan Lopez. He says, building trust. We kind of hit on this a second ago. Lopez feels being able to speak Spanish has helped him build trust with his customers. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Tom Wetmore contracts Lopez's services for Wetmore's 2 businesses based in Cheshire, the Heritage Group, and TFW Properties. That sounds like a place that has like 50 houses that he works on. Like one of those accounts where it's like, it's score. Like you meet a landlord. He's a decent payer. He pays quickly, within a week, maybe the same day. Maybe he pays in cash. What taxes? Am I right? I'm just kidding. You meet one of them guys and he's like, yeah, I got about 22 houses that all the systems are 18 to 25 years old. And you're like, thank you. I appreciate it. I will take the job, sir. Thank you. That's the kind of guy we're looking for. But he's a unicorn. That's the problem. So this guy's got all these cool accounts now. Let's go down to maintenance. Oh, this is his recommendations. This is always like the cheesy part. This is the part they put on the news, guys. Lopez recommends people call an HVAC professional if their units have not been examined in a while. A lot of issues he encounters in HVAC systems have to do with lack of maintenance, he said. Lack of maintenance, guys. Maintain your systems. Lopez noted people should keep an eye on systems that have an air filter since they have to be replaced from time to time. Well, all systems pretty much have an air filter, and this is information. So just a cool story. I might bring up another one of these bad boys here. In fact, there's one here that jumped out at me. There's no real information to this, but check this out right here. All right, this is Invent Help Inventor develops efficient HVAC vent accessory. I guess Invent Help is like a website where people can patent their stuff or something. I'm not quite sure. I didn't investigate like what the website's all about. It just I saw this like news thing and it referred back to this. But this thing is funny. It's just one of those things that you read about. It's like, oh, this is going to be bad. So the Invent Help Inventor develops efficient HVAC vent accessory. Pittsburgh, 2022. I wanted to create an accessory that would allow an HVAC system to provide faster heating and cooling throughout a home, said an inventor from West Point, Georgia. So I invented the vent fans. The vent fans. My design would aid in maintaining a more stable and even air temperature without the extra burden on an HVAC system. The invention provides an effective way to transfer twice as much ambient airflow through an HVAC vent. Well, that sounds good, but it's not always good. In doing so, oh wait, there's a call coming in. All right, let's take this. Maybe this guy knows something about something. You're on the air.
Okay.
You're on the
All right.
air.
So there must be a delay then.
There is a delay of like 8 seconds or so. So you want to turn off whatever's playing, what happened in the past, essentially, because it's going to make your brain scramble.
I have it paused. So, all right, I am basically brand new, and just noticed your channel maybe a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
so,
nice.
I figured I would give it a shot here.
I like the fact that you're brand new, yet you called into the live stream. You know, there's people listening to this thing for like years and years that won't call into the live stream. What's your name or your first name?
Jay.
Jay?
Jay.
All right, Jay. So, what's happening?
So I have a couple questions. Maybe a little unusual or uncommon, let's say.
You called the right place.
First of all, there's a company, I'm not going to mention their name. You can if you want. I don't know how this works, so I'm not going to mention the name. But they advertise a whole bunch on these channels, and they have a name that it's one of the colors of the American flag, and it's not red and it's not white.
I feel like I know who it is.
Go ahead.
Is it some sort of refrigerant?
Yes.
Okay, I think we all understand. And let's hear what you have to say. We can probably name them because all these guys probably already figured it out anyway. But what's the story with them?
Well, no, it's a question. It's like I see all these ads and I see several people ask questions. I've never seen the question answered. So the question is, well, it's a multi-part question. Basically, first of all, has anybody ever used it? Does it work like they say it does? Is it, does it pay? The company, what's their angle? Do they just sell refrigerant? Are they supposed to be like a helpline for techs?
Okay. All right. So we're talking about Blue On, and Blue On is the refrigerant, and I'm just going to bring everybody else up to speed here. TDX 20 is the name of the refrigerant. I think it's 458A, I think. I'm going to actually look it up online here while we're talking. And, okay, here's my experience, because they actually advertised with me a couple years ago for a span. And at that time, okay, well, this is going to be sort of a little bit of a backstory here. A couple years ago, we had a house fire. But before that, I had an R22 system at my house, and they were advertising with me. So I said, hey, whatever their name was, I can't remember, that I always dealt with. Said, why don't you send me out a can of the stuff since you're advertising with me, and I'll retrofit my system with it and check it out. And they never did that. They never would send out a can of the stuff so I could check it out. So I can't tell you if it works or not. I know that the premise was that it ran a lower pressure and it was supposed to be more efficient than R22, like better heat transfer than R22. It's almost too good to be true, but I couldn't tell you for sure if it was or wasn't. I know it's a blend of a lot of refrigerants, and the temperature glide on the refrigerants. For those of you who don't know, it's the different points at which these refrigerants boil off in the evaporator. It had a huge glide. It was like 12 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, that I've ever heard of. But I never personally got to use it at all. So I don't have any beneficial information with that. But I do know their app is one of the things that they're really stressing. And I don't know how it is they're making their money unless it's from advertising on the app. I'm not sure. I've never I don't think I've ever downloaded their app before. I might have when they were with me back in the day, but I don't recall. But I'm guessing there must be some sort of advertising partnership with the app. I'm not sure because they advertise everywhere.
I don't have the app, but does it have ads on it? You know?
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm thinking that one of these guys that are listening to the show right now may know. I'm actually going to look it up too while we're talking and see if I can get sort of a representation of what the ad or it looks like. I'm going to bring up another screen for those of you who are watching. All right, this is the #1 app for HVAC techs. BlueOn's app is at the center of the largest and fastest growing support platform for HVAC techs. So it's almost like that the refrigerant was the way they started, but this app is the way they're going, is what it looks like. So let me see what it says.
So, again, it's kind of weird because you see the ads everywhere, their own ads, and then they claim that they will take your call, 24 hours a day. A real person will come on, within minutes. They'll answer your questions. If you're like in the middle of a job, and you're stuck, an expert will answer your questions. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this is great, but how are they doing this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that one. I'm waiting for guys in the chat. Steve has answered and says he has not seen any ads on the app. And I do know that people call them and get tech support from them. And it's people that aren't even using their refrigerant. It's like people that will just call them as like a general purpose resort for answers. And I'm looking at the App Store preview on Apple, and I don't see any ads on the previews that they're showing, but I don't know what kind of arrangement they've made, because like you're saying, there's an arrangement. There is one somewhere. I'm not sure what it is, because back when they were working with me, I mean, it wasn't chump change that they paid for this stuff. So they're advertising and they're spending thousands of dollars advertising minimum, maybe tens of thousands of dollars monthly. So I'm not sure. It'd be interesting. Let's see if anyone else has had any experience with this. Let's see.
And then obviously you said you couldn't use it, but you don't know anybody that's used it on a retrofit, or I mean, it seems like everybody has asked this question, and I can't see a single person, an actual real person, not like a spokesperson, that has actually experienced it and has had the chance to use it.
I haven't either. I don't know of a single person that's done a retrofit with it. So I'm hoping that someone will hear this. And what we'll do here, this is how the show basically works. It's almost episodic. We'll talk about something, and then somebody who's has some experience with it will tune in and call in, hopefully next time or the following week, because I never got a chance to use it. So I would have loved to use it, because just me being like the sarcastic, skeptical person that I am, I think there's probably no way that it can be better than the original, or else we would have been using TDX20 instead of R22. So I don't know.
Right, but they didn't come out with it till recently because of the R22 being phased out.
That's true. It's only been like 4 or 5 years at the longest, probably.
So I mean, I'm wondering. Obviously we don't know. It's rhetorical, but I'm wondering. I mean, you see, you watch all of these various videos that YouTube, different techs that have channels, and how many times do we see the ones that say, well, it's 17 years old, it's an R22 system, they don't want to replace it. I told them it's too expensive, you really, you just can't do it with the R22, and if you have a leak, it's a goner,
Yeah,
I've never seen anybody say, I mean, you see a few here and there with like 407C or something like that, but never seen anybody try the Gluon, and they claim that you don't need to change the oil, and
that's right.
Kind of as painless as possible for a substitute.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to go right to their MSDS form to see if it says what refrigerants are part of it. Oh, yeah, well, it's going to name... Okay, this is one of the things I remember now. I'm looking at the MSDS sheet. It's page 2, and this is right off of their website. it lists a whole bunch of refrigerants, and I can't translate here, but I'm sure one of them's 134A. There's a couple strange ones in there, and there's what's called a proprietary lubricant is 2% of the formula. So I guess they don't have to tell us because it's proprietary what that lubricant is. But I'm guessing that's what makes the oil come back around. But it's kind of weird because no one knows what it is. So I don't know.
Well, I don't care what it is. I would just like to know if the shit works. Pardon my French.
No, I totally get it. I totally get it. But it would be interesting to know, because if it was just a hydrocarbon or something, like I used 422B the other day, and it has a hydrocarbon to bring the oil back. Now, proprietary lubricant, I don't know what that means. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, or if it's something that would prevent me from using it, because we have no way of knowing. But we will find a person who's done it. I guarantee you, we will locate that person and make them talk to us. I know they sell it. I think they sell it at Johnstone in my town. So I'm going there tomorrow morning. I'm going to see if they sell it.
I mean, it seems like if they're going to all of these newer stuff that have flammable and whatever. I mean, if this stuff is what they say it is, it may be a thing. Just keep all these R22s as long as they'll go, and run them with lower pressures, and not have to worry about the leaks and the older components that weren't made for the high pressure. I mean, it does sound too good to be true, and that's why there hasn't been a real person that can talk about it yet.
There's got to be somebody
that I know
out there.
Of.
There's, I'm a scour of the internet, because if all these guys are making the videos and that are working with them, one of them has to have tried it, and we'll find the guy. We'll find a guy. It has to be a guy not affiliated with them, preferably, because then you're going to get the truthful, if it works or it doesn't work. But it hasn't caught on like fire. I mean, it's not everywhere, that's for sure, because it's just one of the things I don't usually see a whole lot of.
It seems like one of those things where, if they have all of these people on staff and people answering the phones, and they have these databases and the app and this and that, and nobody's actually used the product, and they don't have ads on the app, it seems like one of those things where when the internet first started, you have all of these internet businesses that start up, and they basically buy their customers. You find out that there's some, billionaire or angel investor that's just basically buying their customers for all these years. They're just kind of fronting the money and losing money just to create, a user base or something.
And that's what you think this is?
No, I'm thinking it seems like the kind of thing. I mean, it's got the elements of that. So, I would like to know,
is it
how
BS
they
or
make
not?
it work.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of crap that someone's made. Now we have an app, and we forgot about the refrigerant. And does it work? And I'll tell you what, I looked in the chat here, and we have Nathan, which I'm assuming Nathan's the one who's been calling while you've been talking to me, because I see it pop up on my phone, and it says he's used it. He says, I have, and I'm calling. So if you want, we'll end our conversation. We'll let Nathan call in, and we'll see what he has to say about it.
Okay. Well, I had another quick question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this I saw on another video, on another, another person's video that was interesting. They used a turbo capacitor, and they used it because obviously they didn't have every single size that there is, and they needed. I may get this backwards, but I think they needed a three microfarad.
Yeah. Okay.
And so they used the terminal on there that was for a 3, and they did a close up, and it says 3, and then in parentheses it says 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it seems like you could use either one. but it has to be one or the other. It can't be both. And it could be in the middle, I suppose. But if you need a 3 and this one is a 2.5, it will get the motor started. But right out of the gate, it's already, it's 1/6, which is 17% lower than the rating. Brand new.
And that is definitely a problem. For a 3 microfarad, which is Reams, as far as I remember, Ream and some ICP stuff is definitely 3 microfarad on their little small fractional horsepower fans. And yeah, that's way lower than it should be. And I'm assuming that if they had the 2.5 in parentheses, it's going to be close to 2.5. So that could definitely be a problem.
Yeah. So I was wondering, what gives. They basically present it as, this is just the way it is. It's no big deal. It's just kind of ordinary. But, they say that if it's 6%, a lot of cases, if it's 6%, out of the box, that's already that's a replacement. That's,
Absolutely.
You should return it.
Yeah, 16 or 17% significantly past any standard. Yeah.
Right. So I just thought that was, and nobody's really addressed it, and they seem to just not, it doesn't seem to be a big deal to anybody.
Well, maybe I could, if there's an opportunity to check one of these things, because I know one of these guys out here probably uses one of these things. I've used them in the past, but I haven't checked this particular issue. Perhaps it is 3, and they're putting the 2.5 so people can add it up to a certain amount. And it equals up to whatever 7.5, but it's really 8. I don't know, but hopefully one of these guys will check this, or maybe John's there to let me open up a box and check one and put it back together again, because I'm kind of curious myself. Because the 2.5 thing,
but even if
that would hurt.
Even if it's actually 3 and they want you to use it for a 2.5, that's 17% over, or actually 20% over.
Absolutely, that would be a real problem. I don't recall any 2.5s. But I definitely recall 3s. But if there's a 2.5 and it's a reverse, yeah, that's absolutely just as bad. There's no good scenario here.
One last thing I just wanted to say real quickly. I don't know if anybody's ever brought this up, but has it ever been mentioned that your last name is PSI, or starts with PSI?
No, I never even thought of that myself. I'm
Really?
too busy dodging. Well, we get a lot of jokes coming up about my last name, because we're just a bunch of rednecks out here, but my last name is Ciota, so it's such an odd name that it just gets morphed into a whole bunch of different words, usually negative, but it's all in good fun. But yeah, that's funny. I haven't thought about it.
There's one of your videos, every once in a while you'll mention your name, and it's probably all over the place, different pages, but basically I know it jumped out at me right away. It's like, I just noticed stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, he must have been born for HVAC.
Yeah, I guess, that's what it feels like.
What's that?
That's what it feels like, because I've been in HVAC since I was a very young teenager. So I guess that turned out to be true.
So,
Absolutely.
kind of like maybe that's where it came from, instead of check the ohms, check the Ciota.
Yeah, that would be a thing that would be pretty funny if someone actually did that. First of all, they have to be able to pronounce it, which rules out most people already. So, they probably wouldn't use the term. That's why the other terms across the world is like bar. How hard is that to remember for like a measurement? Bar, tor, stuff like that. It's so much easier. You think we could do something like that, but oh well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Okay, well, I'll let you get to the other call, and I'm interested in what they have to say about the refrigerant.
I'm super stoked you called in, man. Make sure you call in again, and hopefully tune in, and you'll hear some answers, if not tonight, and on some of the other stuff as well in the future.
Okay, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was pretty cool. First time caller. I like it. First time caller's awesome. Okay, Nathan, you have a green light if you want to call in and tell your story. If anyone has a Blue One story, good or bad, let's hear what it's all about. I had a Blue One. I have all sorts of Blue One crap over here. I got the TDX 20, the R22, the 407C. Oh, I guess this is going to be it right here. phone calls coming in. Turn this off. Hello, you're on the air.
And you're paused.
Delay gone. Yes.
Delay gone. I was prepared for it.
That's perfect. Hey, usually I get to hear myself talk for the first 10 seconds of these conversations, but that's great.
Yeah. I would say I'm a first-time caller, but I actually called you one other time, probably sometime in 2019, and I was on one of the major highways in the Beltway of Washington, D.C., and my work truck broke down. And while I was just waiting for things, I was just like, hey, I'm listening to you, and I got nothing to do because they're sending a guy to rescue me in the middle of the highway. And I called.
That is awesome. You were stranded on the Beltway around Washington?
Yes.
That's a horrible road. I hated driving around that.
It was like there wasn't actually a place for my truck to be, so I was actually in the way.
I just can't imagine, man, because I remember driving around that thing. It's like, this is like a racing game on like PlayStation. It's like, if I slow down, I'm going to die. I'm just going to get caught in the traffic and they're just going to like roll over me or something.
I got out and walked, and then some Uber driver picked me up, and they didn't even charge me because they were like an Uber driver and a Lyft driver and a whatever other app there is. Whatever.
That's funny. Hey, so you used a Blue On? Is that right?
Well, no, I've not used the Blue On app or the Blue On refrigerant, but I think part of his question got confused because he's wondering what the heck Blue On is. And Blue On is weird because it was a refrigerant and it still is a refrigerant, but now they're like a social media.
Is that what it is? Social media? It's because I'm not well versed on modern Blue One.
Any contractor can you just essentially prove you're a contractor by saying that you work in HVAC, and then you get an account. And though there's no ads on the app, because it's just like it's like Slack for all of anybody who wants to be a part of it. And they do have 24-hour people, and they hire people who either have 10 to 15 years experience, and you can work remote and work whatever hours you want. You just answer phone calls.
So
that's a side gig.
How do they make money then? Do you know?
Who's worked 10 to 15 years can do. You could do it, and you could answer phones all day.
Oh my gosh.
Still do this.
I'm sort of what I'm doing already, I guess. Answering
phones.
Well,
you could make your own social media. What you're doing is we need to ramp that up, because it gets to your earlier thing about the news article was like, is side work dishonest? That's what I felt like you were asking.
That is the question.
I wonder that all the time too.
The integrity of side work, and I guess it would change from situation to situation, because if it's a non-competing sort of thing, then maybe you could rationalize it a little bit better.
A lot of employers are lenient.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's, especially if it's conflicting. It's not conflicting like scopes of work. Like you work for commercial, but you're gonna do some residential on the side. They probably could care less.
But he did HVAC, so who cares?
Yeah, right. So I mean, that's not a big deal. But if you say I'm gonna go do residential and I work for a residential company, they may care a little bit more.
Exactly. But I got a better take on it, which is we would actually do better if we just all stuck together and did the most work possible. Because if we all got together and did it, it would be better. And so the only reason you do side work is because your boss isn't sharing in the wealth enough, I guess. You work for what you're worth, and we're gonna be worth more if we do it together. And I think that's what Blue On's doing. Blue On's trying to create a community where you can help each other out. And I think where they're getting their money is from teaming with doing the service desk work for the distributors, because their service desks suck. Back in the day, the service desk was like Jim Bergman, he was a service desk guy. Nowadays, it's just a kid who's working for not very much, so he can't really know much.
That's interesting.
No one knows how this stuff works anymore.
Well, okay, so are you saying that, do you know this, that if you call let's say there's a supplier, there's a company, they will refer you to Blue On as their source for technical information?
They are trying to catalog all of the schematics, and they'll pull up the schematics. On their app, you can get the schematics for a lot of systems. So if you can just use it solely to look up the schematics for units that you're looking at, because you never have the schematics. So that's one of the things they're trying to do, is just have all the schematics. If they don't have it, you can call someone 24/7 and they will find it.
That's okay. That's pretty interesting. But still, who's paying them? Who's giving them all the money?
Probably venture capitalists. They're like Uber. They don't actually survive as a business, but they're trying to change something.
So you think people are just putting this money up because of the movement, and then
Well,
that's
no,
what
I
they're
think
investing in?
I think the distributors are putting up the money because now they don't have to hire a help desk, and they've already had problems with that because none of their guys who know anything stay.
I could see that being a possible way they would make money, just to kind of like letting them sub out this stuff they don't want to do anyway.
Well, yeah, because you got to make money, but people have a lot of money, and sometimes they just pump things up to possibly make more money. And actually, I think it's a good idea, but I think you're doing the same thing. You could do the same thing. It's about building a community so we're going to work together. We need to do side jobs. You need like, hey, I need help. Or hey,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I can't
okay.
get to this lady. You go get to her or whatever. I'd give my boss a cut always if he just let me run.
That's an interesting idea. Will us as human people be able to do that though? Like say, hey,
But
I can't get to him. I'm gonna
I
give it to
can.
this guy.
I can. And that's another thing why I love you, because you also have a moral guidance that you tell us about. You
I sneak it in there.
are a
Yeah.
strong Christian man who tells us, yeah, if you do that, then yes, we can do that. Of course.
Absolutely. But I just have a feeling, strong Christian man, yes. Practical, maybe two, and know that it's not going to be a large percentage of people that will follow that guideline to the end of it.
Yeah. Well, it's the little engine that could just keep doing that and make it better and do what you can. Make our own little, because I live right near you in
I saw that.
Eastern North Carolina.
I saw
I'm
the
in Newburgh.
phone. Yeah.
There's not a lot of stuff out here. So there's not a lot of, it's not where I was in Virginia where it was DC and there was just I worked for the major leagues of, just a big company who just took care of shit. But I'm sorry for cursing.
It's okay.
But out here it's quieter. And so it is a little more transactional, just like you and me and whoever,
Yeah, no,
you
you're
need some
right.
help, I could come down for a weekend or whatever. It's just a network. We need a network. And if we all worked by ourselves, we wouldn't do as good because we need dispatchers. Like a good dispatcher is really the best thing for HVAC service.
With a good relationship with the technicians, yes, that is a very good thing to have. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you were the person who went there, now it's forever attached to you a little bit, until you pass the reins to someone else, but you take care of your customer. As long as you do that, you're in, you have integrity.
And you cultivate that easily with a one-man company because you have to have it, or else you're done. I think. So,
Well, the hardest thing is when other people get involved. The human condition.
Yeah. Well, every time you add a human, there's a lower likelihood of success. but that's not the reason to stop trying.
Success.
I understand that. That's
but
a good
the sum
idea.
total of all of them through Jesus Christ is success. So we do
I like it.
do it in the end.
I absolutely agree with that. That's absolutely true. Yeah, the reason that whatever perceived failure you think you're going to have does not justify not trying. So that's absolutely true.
Here's an interesting fact. If you guys like math, Dude was talking about the microfarad stuff. I like what Jim Bergman says about beer froth, and that you can kind of think about the excess power factor as beer froth. And we don't like froth in our motors running. We do maybe in drinking beer, but we don't like it when our motor's running. We want it as perfect as possible. But that's not even what I was talking about. The just an interesting fact about that, I think, is if you add up like 1/1 plus 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 1/5 just forever and ever, you think it gets so small and it just goes away, but it actually goes on for infinity. It goes on forever. And so that's that like one little thing we do that,
Absolutely.
ends up in eternity, and we do the right thing. So just doing the right thing for the right thing's sake.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
it.
better if we're together. It's better if we're together. I think you say it's hard to put more people together because you have less success, but it's the right way to do it.
Yeah, it's the inevitable way that it has to be done, even though whether you believe it's going to work or not is inconsequential. You must believe in the one that makes it work. And that's the easy part and the hard part, actually.
Yeah.
It's
a
funny.
paradox. It's in paradoxes is the truth. Like, that's why he made it that way.
It's a
Because
philosophical.
You can't actually quite understand it. You're never going to quite understand it, but that's actually understanding it is when you realize that.
Yeah, I think
faith.
I think
Faith is understanding the paradox.
See, it's funny you mention that because it's exactly what I think about whenever I'm trying to rationalize. I mean, trying to just understand what it is that we're sitting in here in this whole existence. And I'm sitting there thinking, I can't even understand where space or time ends. I can't imagine it beginning because if there's a beginning or an end, what could be before, after that beginning or end? It's just illogical that something just started spontaneously and there's no explanation of what was before or after it. So then my brain hurts and I say, oh, that's right. I'm never going to understand because
I
I'm
can
not the
fix
guy who
it.
designed
I can
it.
fix it for you.
If you can fix that for me,
I can
I'm
fix it
driving
for
to
you
New
because,
Bern and buying you
because,
a pizza.
Because space-time is just a field that we made up, and that's why it's perfect, but it also doesn't work at all because we made it. It's space-time is what Einstein thought we're made up of, but God has infinite dimensions, and so does everything in our world. And so, yeah, space and time is a thing, but it's way more than that, unfathomably more, which is good that we have comfort that we don't need to understand it all.
Absolutely. That's right. It's our own construct. You're absolutely right. We're trying to define something undefinable with a construct that we've created as people who cannot understand it to begin with. So, man, I like this. This is nice. Did we even talk about HVAC?
Yeah, no, Blue On app.
Yeah,
Blue On
yeah.
app.
I'm just kidding.
Because it was interesting because that seemed like a very wise green man, with what he was talking about, at least partially, and he was just, the details weren't quite right, and that was awesome. But what he's thinking is what a lot of people are thinking. What the heck is Blue On?
Yeah,
and they're becoming they're HVAC Twitter.
That's it. I'm gonna do a little bit more research. I really haven't paid much attention to them in the last year or two, so I have to get well versed again, I guess. See what it's all about.
Join. All they need to do is say, yes, I do HVAC, and then you have access to all the things, and you have access to a bunch of the nicer things that we install. They're not all there, but especially the shit that's 20 years. Sorry to curse again. The stuff that's 20 years old that you're like, I can't find a book for this. If you have a number, you can find a book for that Airco or some weird thing that's old.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my
and so it's really useful. It's really useful, and I think it's doing a good thing because they're trying to get into training. They're trying to be more of a trainer now in like an education thing rather than, I guess, the refrigerant, because R22 is gone and A2Ls are coming, and they maybe did good for a while, but they're pivoting their business and they're just being something totally different now.
Well, let me ask you something, just your opinion, because you seem to know more about the Blue One company than I definitely know. So when you think about them as they started until now, do you think this is something that's been calculated or just a reactionary thing based on what's going on?
No, I think they got a good, well, I don't know, but I guess one opinion could be they have a good team of people and they realize that R22 replacements are good now, but they're not going to last forever. We got to do something else. And you know what? There's all these people online becoming YouTube famous in HVAC, which is a funny word, Yeah. The all-stars, Brian Orr and Jim Bergman, the Godfather, and you, a really astute soldier. You're doing an awesome job.
I'm on down the line, man. I'm behind Migliaccio, and I'm behind Chris Stevens, and I'm behind a whole bunch of guys, but I have fun. I have more fun than they do.
I'm sad that Andrew Greaves is gone. I know he's apparently not, but he is gone from the world.
You ever watch, when I was a kid, there was a show called DuckTales. I don't know if you remember this. It was a cartoon. I don't know how old you are. But,
I'm 30.
So you're a little bit younger than me. I'm 42. So DuckTales was on, and Scrooge McDuck was one of the main characters in every show. At the beginning, in the theme, he would dive into this big pile of money. And that's what Greaves did. And so he doesn't need any of this crap anymore. So he just goes on and does his own thing, which is, he's a more reserved guy. He didn't really like being in the spotlight. So it didn't suit him.
Who?
AK.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was, because he's an introverted extrovert, but it's his fault for doing HVAC comedy, which is like the greatest, no offense, the greatest YouTube stuff that happened was his HVAC comedy.
It's funny.
Yeah. It's like stupid funny. It's just the right thing. It's for a very select audience, a very, very select audience.
Yeah.
But it's the perfect thing for that select audience.
Oh, he was great. But you're exactly right. He'd rather just be on his own. He'd rather just be offline, and I don't blame him.
And I'm sure he's going around being a mentor to people. He's doing a good job. He's doing his old man work early, which is great, because being an old man is probably the best part of life, I assume, because I'm not that, and I've been everything else.
It must be just process of elimination. It's got to be the best part, right? It must come after 42. I can tell you that. So you got 12
Well,
more
it
years
either
at
gets
least.
better or gets worse. You know. So like Bob Dylan, he not busy being born is busy dying.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But I think he sold. You know, he told the world that he sold himself to the devil. So I don't think we should listen to him, because he said it outright.
He says some flashy stuff, but yeah, you're right. There may be some
I mean,
problems.
think about it. He really is really old, and he just keeps doing it, and he won't stop because he could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But no,
absolutely.
he has to until the day he dies. And he's going to, and he's probably going to outlive all of us. He's going to be the last dude on Earth. Is
The
gonna be
cockroaches
Bob Dylan
and
playing to
him.
himself.
The cockroaches in this guy after the mushroom cloud explodes.
Well, that's going to be conglomerated into one big dragon.
What a picture. I'm going to tell you something because I don't want to forget this. And I'm wrapping the show up here in just a second. So this is also my segue. So you're from New Bern. My dog, the poodle, which is my dog now, gets like boarded in New Bern. Like every year they have like this whole thing where she makes
Is it
more
called
dogs.
Jill's?
I don't know. I don't remember what it's called because my
There's a
wife.
swanky place called Jill's here.
This is like, it looks like a ranch. It looks like you're driving to a ranch. It's next to an airport. That's all I know. And I drove up
Yeah,
there.
that's Jill's. That's Jill's. It's called like Jill's Place.
That's so funny.
And it's
Okay,
like
yeah.
it's like you need a key card to get into this dog park.
Oh,
It's the creme de la creme of dog parks.
Oh, it's really nice. Yeah. So what I was thinking is, since you're in New Bern, you know, I got your number. I can like shoot you a text if I go up there. Maybe you're around.
Yeah.
We have some
You
pizza
should do
or
a
some Wendy's
fireside
fries.
chat at the dog park. Video.
You're mixing up your YouTubers now. I mean, that's like Steve Lav, but we can probably make something. We can adapt that. Can you start a fire in a park in New Bern? Is that
no.
legal?
Well, you can start it in the grill.
Oh yeah.
Because we can just pretend we're cooking.
I'm really going to be cooking. If I go up there and start a grill, we're making something.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Start the grill and cook something. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I actually work with Homer.
You work with Homer.
Yeah.
Who's Homer? What are we talking about?
Homer Blackburn.
You work with Homer.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, all right. I was like, what are you talking about, Homer? And it's like, actually, the first thing I thought of when I saw your number, I said, is that Homer calling me? But I have his contact, so it should show his
This
name.
is a work phone, so it's the 910 Jacksonville area code.
That is, yeah, that's what it showed. It showed Jacksonville. That's why I thought it might be Homer, even though it's kind of farther up the line is where he lives.
My phone's older than his. He's been there longer.
That is a trip. All right, we'll consolidate the visit into 3 somehow. We'll meet in like Maysville or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, one of our other techs is there. He's a cool guy.
that's awesome. All right, man, that's awesome. Man, this is great. Well, I appreciate you calling in again, all right? Because this has been a good conversation, just covering a wide variety of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's time for me to get on and wrap this thing up because I'm about to head back inside and basically go to sleep.
All right. Here's an idea. One last idea for you. Short and we can end. Idea for your skilled trade up. Instead of asking questions about like pretty much anything, ask diagnostic questions where you have to diagnose the system with what you tell. And there's always going to be one that is the most right.
I will do that. Even though when I do similar things to that in the past, people will like, well, the other one's right too. But it is my game, so I can decide which one's right. But yes, I will add some of those.
Or you can steer
sure.
them. You can steer them and say, if they ask a question, you can have like they have to say check the inducer motor or something like that. You could say, oh, this is what you would get.
Oh, that's a deal. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, keep trucking along, man.
I appreciate it, dude. Make sure you call in again. All right.
Will do.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
That was pretty cool, man. All right. That's all the calls for today, though, because I'm running out of time. Good show, guys. Awesome callers. Got some new information out here. We're going to find some more information about Blue One. I have been out of the loop with them. I've heard bits and pieces about them over the last couple years. And they did have the app whenever I was working with them, and it was like a whole bunch of units that were stored on the app. So we'll investigate a little bit more. You know, anytime you guys have something that you want to talk about like this, or there's a subject that's like burrowing into your brain, you can always email me. My phone number, a lot of you have called it. You can text that number. Calling me during the day, I'm usually running around as crazy. It's easier to text. It's much easier to text. That way I can catch up with you whenever I get a chance. And because I'm churning out videos all morning. I've been doing field work in between all that stuff. It's just been very hectic and stressful to try to get all this stuff done, try to finish the job I'm working on too. for my brother-in-law. So I'll be working on that in the next few days too. Building ductwork tomorrow, building some square ductwork, rectangular, technically, some square, technically, 12 by 12. RJ says, Blue One has the most annoying ads on YouTube. You know what? I've seen like I've heard some of their ads, but Blue One does something that a few of the other ones do now. And that's they incorporate a lot of, I don't want to say vulgarity because it sounds like your mother's talking to you, but if an advertisement has a lot of cursing in it, it just, even back when I cursed all the time, it just bothers me because it seems like it's contrived. So it's building some kind of weird bridge of relatability in between technicians and companies, which is completely just inauthentic. So that it bothers me right off the bat. It just says like, okay, this is a turnoff. I don't like it. Whether the stuff is good or not, I don't know. I mean, people seem to like the app, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of people with firsthand experience with the refrigerant itself. I don't know. Nathaniel said you get a free hat when you sign up. Well, a free hat's pretty cool. I know we all like hats. Maybe I can find some Shop Talk hats in the bottom of one of these boxes. Hey, that's possible. We can use those for skill trade up. I will try to do something like that, guys. If anyone said anything in the chat, because we had some good conversations on the phone tonight with the callers. Sorry I missed it. You can always send it to me if it's something you want to have discussed on the show. Of course, you can call in. Anyone can call in. Absolutely. But if you want make sure that I discuss something or bring something up so we can all discuss it, just feel free to shoot it to me. Text me, hvacshoptalk@gmail.com. If you want to have it discussed, you can do either way. It don't matter. And if I don't answer you, if I miss something and you think I missed it and haven't ever seen it, feel free to shoot it to me again. Because sometimes I get a lot of emails and text simultaneously with family and the show and stuff. So don't hesitate to do it. And it's nothing against you or anything like that. It's just I missed it. So I'm gonna tune this. Ted, we're gonna do it this weekend. Ted, this weekend I'm doing a fundraiser for my son. He's going to the Citadel, and we're trying to raise some money so he can go to this thing called the Success Camp. I think it's what it's called, CSI. It's a success camp that they're doing over the summer. It's just something, we're trying to do everything we can for the boy to make sure he has the best start into his adult life. He's already earned my respect for being someone of great integrity, just a good man. He's 18, and I just want to help him any way I can. So I said, this is something I can do. I'm not the richest person in the world, so I don't have all the money he needs to go to all these things, but I can help raise money for him. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm bringing in Bill Spone this weekend. And if you have any questions that you want me to ask Bill Spone or David Richardson, please shoot them to me. I would love to have your questions answered. I mean, again, that's what it's about, guys. Just making sure that we work together, figure out all the things we need to figure out. It doesn't matter if you're the smartest guy in the room, the most ignorant guy in the room, and not stupid, ignorant, just doesn't know those things yet. We need to help each other, and that's what this place is for. Helping each other out, working together, calling in, asking the questions. We'll figure it out. If you have a guy you want me to talk to, let me know that too. If there's someone out there like a teacher, like you say you want Jim Bergman to explain Measure Quick 2.0, I'll get him on the show, or try to. People have to agree, but I will try to get him on the show to talk about Measure Quick 2.0, which I'm sure he would, because he wants the most people possible to hear about it. So, it would make sense that he would do that. All right. So I am going to, oh, that's cool. Ted knows somebody who went to Citadel. Yeah, he's just a good kid. He's a really good kid. And I just want to make sure I do everything I can for him to make sure he gets everything he possibly needs. I think he'll be successful either way. If he doesn't go to the camp, I don't think he's going to be a failure in life by any stretch of the imagination. I just want to do everything I can for him because he's just a good guy. Nathaniel, if you have something, text me that information to the number you called in on. If you want me to ask Bill that, because I'll forget about the live chat once I'm done with the show. But if I have the text, I can go ahead and write it down, store it for Saturday night. I think we're going to start at 8 p.m. on Saturday night. I'll be back here tomorrow night around 8:30, 8:45 to do another show. Friday, I'm going to take the day off because that's too many shows in a row, and there's only so much information to be discussed, I guess. And then my wife also would like me to take a day off every now and then. It's just hard for me to do. I got all these people to take care of, and if you take a day off, it's like, what, you don't want to take care of them anymore? Hey, you got too much money, Zach? No, that is not a problem. I'm going to continue working. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I need to tell you our sponsor stuff real quick because we were off and running and I didn't get to do it. So, Company Cam is the only app every contractor needs. Document your jobs, communicate with your crews, and cover your company's butt. Company Cam is an app where you consolidate a lot of the media that you take on your job sites, like your pictures and things. You categorize them, it files them away perfectly so you can reflect back to them if you need to. If there's a customer dispute or you just want to cite and see what you've done on a job site, all that information is there. CompanyCam.com. EWC, some of the finest zoning supplies that I've installed at my house right over there. I'm pointing at it now. Hold on. All right. EWCcontrols.com, very nice zoning supplies. Buy them all constantly. TrueTech Tools, use the Shop Talk code to save 8%. TrueTechTools.com. See all those tools on the screen right there? Don't you want them all? Use the Shop Talk code. All right. Don't be not using the Shop Talk code. All right. Refrigeration Technologies, all the coil cleaners a boy could ever want, or a girl, because there's girls in the trade too. There you go. Evaporators, brighteners, the kind of coils, the kind of coil cleaner when you spray on something, if you don't wash it off soon, there's not going to be anything left. They got that one too. They got the one that doesn't do that and everything in between. It's Refrigeration Technologies. Yellow Jacket Super Recovery Machine. I used it the other day. It recovered all the refrigerant out just like it was designed to do, and it seemed to do it very well, very quick. So, yellowjacket.com. Find out more about that. Alrighty, guys. Yep. I think I'm out of here. And I'll see you guys, long drawn out thing, on the next one. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow night.